Good morning, traders, and this is your Dax daily trade setup. So we have finally, well, let's not say finally, so we are currently above the weekly 200 EMA, and we've also sort of above this previous swing high on the weekly 200 EMA. Obviously, we still got 1 day to go, and I'm still a little bit concerned because we are back on this trend line. So if I look at the history of this, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. This is the 5th touch that we're busy with right now. So I would kind of expect some kind of a pullback off this. Okay, what I want to do is just put the 200 moving average in there, and then let's break it down. Okay, so this is still really messy. We had a big move down, we've had a move up, and I'm assuming that the second move here has happened. Pretty much has. Okay, so this move up, then we had a pullback, and then that was a second move. So there isn't a target at the moment, and what we can do is just delete that line there and just tidy it up on the daily. Okay, so that is the current trend line. We are at it. Don't really have diversions or anything here on the daily, but there's also a lot of congestion if I look to the left here. So it's kind of difficult to pick up what's going to happen here. Are we going to find some resistance here, or are we going to find a little bit of a pullback and then get some support? I'm not convinced either way, but basically what happens is I just start looking at the lower time frames, and we just trade what we see on the lower time frames. It starts becoming a little bit easier to trade. So we've got 2 pin bars here which didn't really materialize, but what we do have here is a little bit of you see these tails at the top and these candles getting smaller, and then we closed off with an inside bar. That could be profit taking from the move up, or it could be people starting to build build a short off this level. Now I would expect some kind of a bounce to the downside happening here. It's just what I'm seeing. There's the top of the trend line, and if we take another one along there, or we could possibly even just look at it this way. Okay, doesn't really matter which way you look at it, and if I pull this one back, you probably find it ties up there. Yeah, well, it probably ties up even further. Okay, so that's the kind of view that I see. It is a bit of a rising wedge, and we are at a fairly strong downward trend line. So I'm kind of inclined to believe a move back to the downside to come and test the bottom of this wedge, or alternatively the 200 EMA on the weekly, which is this bottom line at 11,345. And yeah, okay, so just move down to the hour. We'll see what we can see. You can see the sellers were stepping in here. They definitely were stepping in through the day. Although they weren't managing to drive price down, the question is whether people were accumulating a position through the day, or was it just profit taking of every move to the upside. So I just see a very messy move to the upside here. Trend is still up. We're not really seeing any diversions or anything that's giving us any indication that this may be coming to an end. But as I said, we are coming up to a pretty strong level. And if you look back over the last couple of days, it's been pretty volatile, directionless in actual fact. So, and this is normally true of when you're coming up to a strong level. You have a lot of people ambushing, trying to drive off before the level. to trigger stop losses, but not being successful. And now we've sort of got a little bit of indecision here if you look at these last couple of bars. I'm just going to break down for 30 minutes, see if there's anything else there. So we've got pin bars again, we've got an indecision bar, inside bar, so there's quite a bit going on here, but nothing concrete. Okay, if I look at where we are currently, DAX futures is flat. The US was pretty flat yesterday, nothing really materialized from that. And Euro USD is 11338, so that's fairly flat as well, so there's nothing to read into that. Okay, so the summary for me on the DAX right now is you're more than likely going to have a lot more benefit from trading a much smaller time frame. So you can see here is the 12 minute. You can see the buyers were stepping in on this pullback here, and then we rallied. So that's kind of the view that I would take right now. Today is I'd look at a lower time frame to see what's going to happen and then pick up the trade from that. So I think this was a 100-point trade, if I'm correct. Yeah, so it's a 100-point trade through the day, which is not too bad for the DAX. If you're getting 100 points in a day on the DAX, that's a fairly good move. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of the outlook I've got right now is one of total confusion, and not one that I want to trade the highest time frames on anyway. So you see we do have a flat top triangle brewing here as well on the 12 minute. So this may materialize. So if this does happen, then you've got the potential for this trend line to break. If that happens, that would be fairly interesting, because then you'd expect it to run past the trend line a bit, come back and test the break, maybe hover on that trend line for a bit before accelerating to the upside. Okay, now if we look at get rid of the noise and look at just a wider picture here, you will see I pointed this out already. So there's a head and shoulders. So there's a shoulder, head, shoulder, or you could have a cup and handle. Okay, and one thing about it is on the 4 hour that we have closed above there. Okay, so just taking that into account and bearing in mind that I'm not really a fan of a diagonal trend lines, this is a fairly strong breakout of this previous swing high. So I would kind of expect, let's bring it down to there, I would kind of expect a pullback back down into this area, consolidate, and then a move to the upside. Okay, so that's kind of the view that I've got at the moment, and that's what I'm looking for, is a bit of a pullback, and let's trade the flat top triangle that we see on the 12 minute here, which is this picture right over here. We'll do that. We'll do that. Either we're going to trade the flat top triangle, or we're going to pull back into this area, and that's going to be an area for me to get long again. Okay, now the levels you need to pay attention for right now are these two fractal levels here. So if we break below 11,410, you're looking for downside, down back into these previous swing highs, these fractals here. So there's one there, there's one there, there's one there. And if we break above 11,440, you're looking for upside move, and that upside move is pretty much another 100 points. Okay, so there's two ways of doing it. That's the one way, and then the other way is going to be like that. Like that. And if I go to the 4 hour, so you do have this gap to the upside as well. And we also have a bit of an inside bar here. So let's double check that. So we have tagged that inside bar. I would assume that we're more than likely going to get that gap close. So from where we are to there, it's a good 70 points and then another 116 points further on. Okay, so I'm anticipating a move to the upside. I'm going to be a little bit wary though. So in other words, take it off lower time frames and trade this and take profit at these different levels here. So more than likely take profit at the gap close. And then let's just see if we can just fine tune that gap close quickly. That's probably so far back. And I'm not going to pick it up quickly. Okay. No, that'll be just adjusted to there. So that target for the gap is going to be 11,480. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 11,480, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens. That's pretty much not far from where we are. Okay, so that's kind of my trade at the moment. Going to look for this move to the upside, but then taking profit and waiting to see what happens after that, because I don't see it rocketing past there unless something really interesting comes out of the trade war talks. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. I hope that helps, and I will catch up with you later. Cheers for now.